Palestine's national women's soccer team defeated Bohemian FC 2-1 in a friendly match hosted at Dalymount Park in Dublin, Ireland on May 15th. Emily Ibrahim, a member of the national team and senior at Loyola University in Chicago, joined the Palestine in America podcast to discuss the team's first ever match in Europe, student organizing around the world, and FIFA's looming decision on Israel's future in the organization. How you doing? How's it going?
Pretty good.
Alhamdulillah.
Still like getting back into things after Ireland, but
Oh, so jet lagged. You're back.
yeah,
All
yeah.
right. All right, let's jump right into it. So, um, how did the trip and the games in Ireland come about?
I honestly like I'm not too sure about like the logistics of it. Like I think well, it was like against this club team in Ireland called Bohemian FC, and I think, but I could be completely wrong. I think they reached out to like the Palestinian Football Association, and they like had arranged like that match kind of like under like this like idea of like how Ireland and like Palestine have like that shared history and like that like long history of solidarity. So they kind of wanted to like facilitate a match in Europe because this was like the first time like the Palestinian national team has played in Europe. So I think they kind of just wanted to like do something like that. So I think it was the Irish team that had reached out to the Palestinian team.
That's cool. So when you guys got out there, how was the reception? Were-
Um, it was insane, like absolutely incredible. Because I obviously like I came like separately from like the majority of the team. There's like a couple of players that are like within like the diaspora that like also came separately. Like there's two girls from Canada, a girl from Sweden, two girls from Germany, a girl from Lebanon, and then a couple others from the States. So we're all coming separately, but so like I got there and then I met up with like this guy that like works for like the team, and me and like a couple of girls like met up with him, and then they kind of took us to go wait by like where the rest of the team would come in, like the girls from Palestine were coming in, and then so we kind of got to like that spot earlier, and there was a bunch of like pro-Palestinian protesters like in the airport. Like I wanted there had to have been like at least 100. And so like I like start walking there with like the group of girls like I was with. It was just absolutely incredible. Like just like chanting like Free Palestine, like just waiting for like the national team to like arrive. And then when they did arrive, it was just absolutely insane. Like it was incredible. So that's kind of like how it kind of just like set the like mood for the whole trip, because for the whole rest of the trip it was just absolutely insane. Like the amount of support Palestine had was incredible.
And so, how long were you guys in Ireland?
I think 6 days. We landed May, oh, I can't remember if it was May 12th or May 13th. I think May 13th
But it
we
was
landed.
almost a week out there. And for one
Yeah,
match,
yeah,
or how many matches did you guys play?
just one match. So
One.
it was a little bit less than a week and then just one game.
Did you guys practice leading up to the match?
Yeah. We practiced 3 times, like
Did
before
you
the
guys were you guys practicing like how are the facilities out there that they were letting you guys use?
Um, one of one of them was like it was so incredible. It was this indoor field. I can't remember like what it was called or like who uses it. I think it's like used by like other like pro like sports teams, pro soccer teams in Ireland. But it was like this like massive like indoor facility, and like it was grass, like it was not like grass, but like it was like a nice like indoor like turf field. Like it was really nice. And then the other one was just like a typical like outdoor practice, still like both very, very nice facilities.
So they took it sounds like they took really good care of you guys while you guys were out there. Take me to leading up to the match and tell me about how the match went.
So like leading up to like the couple of days prior to the match, it was we had like a bunch of like activities that were like planned out for us, I think by like the Irish team. So like that first day I remember we went to like this place called Glendalough, and it was really beautiful. It was like a nice like hiking spot, so we got to see like some of like the like natural like sites within Ireland. So it was really nice. Um, and then we had like practice that night, and then the next day it was just, oh, and then I remember like that night that we got there, like they took us to like this like very, very famous like Palestinian restaurant in Dublin. So we did that, and then at that dinner, like a lot of like representatives from the team were like speaking. So like the team that we were playing, Bohemian FC, it's like an entirely like fan-owned club. And so like we talked to like some of the people, like some of the members and stuff, and then the president of the club had like spoken to us at that dinner, and so it was just like a lot of like getting to know like who's in charge and stuff. um and then yeah, so they just had all those activities planned for us, and then the day after we went on like that hike, we went to Trinity College, which was actually really cool because we got to like meet some of the people who were responsible for Trinity College's encampment that they had, which I believe they got the university to divest, which is incredible. So we got to meet some of those people that were in charge of that, which was amazing. And then we toured the campus, and then we got to kind of just like walk around like Dublin, see the city, just kind of do things on our own, and then yeah, practice again. And then it was super cool like doing that because like walking like across like Trinity College, walking through like the city of Dublin, like I saw so many Palestinian flags. Like it was, and I don't know if it's because like they knew like the Palestinian team was like in Dublin, or if it's just like all like 24/7 just supporting Palestine, but it was so incredible. I remember we were like, me and like this other group of girls were walking like through like there's like shops and stuff, and we were walking around, and there was like this booth, and this guy like had like a Palestinian flag like hanging from his booth, and we went up and like spoke to him, and we're like, hey, like we're from like the Palestinian national team, we have a match like coming up, and he was so excited. He's like, oh my gosh, I have to buy a ticket. Like, so it was just, it was, I've never seen anything like that. Like that was unreal to see that many Palestinian flags flown by people who are not Palestinian. It's just,
And I think it's genuine. I think the Irish people genuinely, especially the ones that are in Ireland, stand with Palestinians. That's why we usually see their parliament. A lot of them speak out for Palestinian rights. So I think it was like a perfect place for the Palestinian national team, the women's team, to have their first European game out there, because
yeah,
they're definitely going to support you, and it showed by how it went.
yeah.
Um, We'll get to the game, but you brought up a good point, Emily. You're still at Loyola, right?
Yes, yeah.
Are you in your senior year now? Because last we
Yeah.
spoke in 2022, you were a freshman, right, or a sophomore?
Yeah, I was a freshman, so now I'm about to go into my senior year.
Yeah. So you brought up the encampments that are going on i- out there in Europe, even back home here in Chicagoland area. We've seen a bunch of encampments. What are your thoughts on the encampments that have been going on in the city?
I think they're incredible, and I think it's like it's just absolutely disturbing the way administrations like have handled the situation, and it's just incredibly enraging to see people get more angry about some tents than an actual genocide. It's just, I think I echo every Palestinian Palestinians' thoughts like right now, like saying like, how can you care so much about like a few like broken windows, or like, oh, your classes are disturbed. Like there's Palestinians who cannot go to class right now because they are actively being bombed and killed. Like it's just it's just despicable, honestly. Like our whole, like the way our country has handled the situation, the way universities have handled the situation, it's just absolutely like, it like really like makes you question humanity, honestly.
Do
it's
you
it's
do you see? I know, here in Chicago, there was, obviously DePaul, Northwestern, University of Chicago. In the past, Loyola has been a part of these schools that have, done divestment organizing in the past. When I graduated from college, I remember in 2014 they had some divestment campaigns. Do you think that the students at Loyola this upcoming semester, anytime soon, will do anything in support of the Palestinians, or have they already?
we obviously like we haven't had like a full on like encampment yet, we've had like a few protests. I remember like once like the encampments were like starting to pop up, we like kind of did this thing where we like occupied the quad. So it was like the whole day just kind of out there. People were giving like speeches, there were teach-ins. So I think we had like a couple of those, and then there's been a lot of protests like within our student center. So like when there's like a lot of like foot traffic, there's a lot of foot traffic in there specifically. So they would kind of just like disturb everybody, um kind of get like that message out. They had like a banner of like all of the Palestinians who have been killed since October 7th, and kind of just having like student speakers from SJP, like from other organizations, kind of like speak up like to like everybody that's in the student center. So we've had stuff like that. So yeah.
So you mentioned kind of, these, encampments and protests. It's more than just obviously just what's happening right now in Gaza. There's what's happening in the West Bank, the whole, apartheid occupation. Nakba's been going on since 1948, as we know. And it's affected sports too. I mean, when I was on I'm on the national baseball team, and we had some teammates in Gaza that couldn't travel with us to Taiwan when we played in the Asian Cup back in December. So I was wondering, was there any members of your team that are in Gaza currently, or were they not able to travel with you guys? Or do you guys have any teammates that are from there?
I don't think so. I don't know if we ever had, but there weren't this time. And I can't remember like from like the past when I've played with them since like being a part of the senior team since I think 2021. I don't think we've ever had any from there, but I mean obviously like they wouldn't be able to play with us now. But you bring up like a good point about like how this has affected sports. I think like at least for like the soccer team, and I'm sure it's the same for the baseball team, like it's very hard for the team to like all get together and practice together. Like it's easier for them to travel to a different country and practice there before the match instead of, playing within Palestine and training together as a team, which obviously like kind of like hinders like the team's ability to grow. And it's so inspiring the way they already play so incredible given like what they have. It's just they all inspire me truly, like they really do.
Yeah, can you
um
talk a little bit
but
about your teammates that did come from Palestine and how they played and what your thoughts on their play was?
I would incredible, honestly. Like I was like this was a complete basically like for the most part a completely new team for me. Because the last time I played was in 2021. There was a couple of times where I was like called up, but like for reasons I couldn't, like there were just like many different reasons why I couldn't go. But so when I came like this time, it's like obviously like years later. And so the team is completely like different. Like there's only like maybe like four or five girls that I had known from before. And so first of all, like I saw them and I was like, you guys are like still so incredible from like the last time I saw you. And then seeing like all of these new girls play and the way they play so well together and they have like that like team chemistry and they're able to work off of each other. I was just like, I was playing and I was like, this is an incredible team to play with. Like this is like what an honor it was for me to like be a part of that team truly.
And how did the game go itself? I heard you guys won, but how did the game go? And how did you guys pull off the victory? And then maybe just let's talk about that first. How did you guys pull off the victory?
It was a pretty late win. Um, I think Ireland scored first, and then pretty late into the game, I can't remember, like maybe it was in like the 75th minute, maybe something like that. Um, we got like Ireland had scored like an own goal, so then it was tied 1-1. And then like very like it had to have been within like the last 10 minutes of the game, I think. One of our teammates, Noor, she had scored a goal, and then that like took us to the lead like within the last minutes of the game. So obviously like everybody in the stadiums, it was just like electric. It was incredible. So yeah, we got that lead like pretty late into the game, but it was amazing.
So who would you say, if you had to pick one player on the team that really stood out, would it be Nude or would it be somebody else?
Oh man, that's a difficult question. I mean, like obviously like I don't know. Like I feel like everybody like stood out like in just like their own ways. Like everybody played like their own role. Like our goalie did an incredible job, like lots of incredible saves, Charlotte Phillips. Um and then obviously like Noor getting that goal was so like so important, obviously. And then I don't know, everybody just kind of like played their role in getting us to where we were. So yeah, they all did something unique. So
So, an important question I wanted to ask you, especially because since you're on the national soccer team, is coming up. So the FIFA president Gianni Infantino, he announced that the governing body of FIFA will hold an urgent meeting to decide if Israel should be thrown out of world football over its response to the October 7th Hamas attack. Infantino confirmed FIFA would carry out a legal assessment of the matter following a proposal submitted by the Palestine Football Association. How would you like FIFA to act when they bring this up at their next meeting?
I mean, I think the right thing to do would be to like ban Israeli clubs or like put sanctions against Israeli clubs and like the Israeli national team. Um I think they did the same thing for Russia. So I don't see why there should be any difference in like the way the two are treated. I think it would just if FIFA didn't choose to carry out sanctions against Israeli teams, I think it would really reveal like the hypocrisy of the organization and of the West. I mean, we've already been seeing that hypocrisy. So I think obviously that would be the best thing to do. The Israeli occupation forces, we've mentioned this before, but they continually target athletes, Palestinian athletes. Like a lot of like soccer infrastructure has been destroyed even prior to like October 7th. Like they have this long history. I think it's just like sports have this ability to like generate so much hope from a people and like so much energy and like enthusiasm for who you are and like where you come from. And so their decision to target Palestinian athletes and that like soccer infrastructure, it's very strategic. It's intended to kind of deplete the spirits of like the Palestinian people, which obviously they can't do. We've seen it. Like Palestinians have been strong and resilient since 1948. It's gonna they can't break our spirits. Truly they can't. But it's very intentional what they're trying to do when they come after Palestinian athletes. So I think if FIFA were not to do something about that, that would be incredibly despicable.
Yeah, because even in the strikes that have been going on for the last 7 months, we've seen them kill a former national team member, Muhammad Barakat. When you see stuff like that happen, and like you just mentioned, they most likely do it to, hinder our resolve and stop Palestinians and, make us depressed and maybe give up on this whole thing. But when you see something like that, doesn't it do the opposite? Does it make you want to play even more for your team?
100%. Like the more they kill, the more they like destroy our infrastructure, all of it. It's all the more reason to keep going. All the more reason.
Last time we spoke, Emily, you spoke of, having the dream to start like a soccer organization that would, help people in third world countries. Has that changed? Is that dream still thriving?
That's still the plan. I mean, obviously, like not right after college, but I would like to work with her like an organization that like works with like refugees. Working for one that works with Palestinian refugees would be absolutely incredible, but anything along those lines would be great. And then eventually down the line, I would love to start that organization.
And how would you describe this trip, and the teammates that you met? Are these lifelong friendships that you developed?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, the trip in itself, like, I mean, I've been saying this already, but I never in a million years would have expected to see anything like that. the amount of times I was brought to tears, just like even before the game, like just like I think I'm speaking on behalf of all my teammates. Like it's it's we've never seen support like that from people who aren't like Palestinian or at least like Arab, but like honestly, like Ireland is being a lot more helpful than many other like Arab countries like right now. So I mean,
And you
but
guys played on Nakba Day, right? On the 15th.
yeah, yeah.
So what significance did that hold to you playing on that day?
I mean, just for me playing on Nakba Day, like 76 years after the Nakba, I mean, it just kind of shows that we we as I mean, coming from like the Palestinian diaspora, I think I like had like an important role to show that like even though like my grandparents and like my parents aren't able to like live like in the place where like they come from and like we had to like flee Palestine 76 years later, like I am still very prideful and passionate about like who I am as a person, and just kind of play on Nakba Day. It kind of shows that. It shows how we don't forget who we are, and we are going to keep fighting for a liberated Palestine even 76 years later. No amount of time that passes from the Nakba will make any Palestinian, whether they live in Palestine or whether they're within the diaspora, and no matter how many generations have passed, Palestinians are not going to stop fighting for their liberation. And so playing on Nakba Day just kind of really like symbolized that.
One of my teammates from Gaza, he put it really well to me, and I want to know your take on this. He said there's more than one way to resist the occupation. There's people that, they go to war, there's people that, they join the medical field and they heal the sick and the injured. And he says, us, we play sports. So how do you feel about that statement?
I mean, I think that's an incredible statement. I think very accurate. Um, I've always viewed soccer, I mean all sports, but like soccer specifically, I've always viewed it as just sort of this unifying sport. I've always loved how it has like the ability to kind of join two people together who like may not know anything about each other. They don't speak the same language. They, like it's not the same culture, but I've always viewed soccer as a universal language. You know what I mean? And same thing with all sports. I feel like sport is just a universal language in itself. And so when you step out onto that soccer field and you're wearing that Palestinian jersey, you're showing to everybody watching that, Palestine is here and Palestinian athletes exist. And beyond that, Palestinian doctors and Palestinian poets exist. And we are a people, and we are a people who are very strong, and we have so many different things to offer the world. And so I think sport is just one of the ways to kind of show who we are as a nation.
Very well said. Uh, but isn't there an added pressure to that as well? And how do you feel about that added pressure?
Um, there definitely is. Before I like stepped out onto that field, I was like, this has to be like an incredible game played by me because I'm representing my country, you know what I mean? Like it's just I feel like I absolutely like have to like behave and like play in a way that is like representative of Palestine. And when people see us play, they think, oh, like this is, or like not even, it goes beyond how we play. Like, it's how we act, how we engage with the other team, even like leading up to the match. Like everything we do, wearing that Palestinian jersey is a representation of of who the Palestinian people are. And so you obviously like want to portray the Palestinian people in a correct way, in a way that is accurate. I mean, the Palestinian people are, a very kind, a very generous people. And it's just, you have to be able to like portray that to people who might not be familiar or might not have had interactions with Palestinians in the past, especially with this game, with so many people watching, both within the stadium and then on like, you know, on their TVs at home. So with that big of an audience, obviously it's a lot of pressure, but I think like the whole team did an excellent job of kind of showing who we are. So I'm very proud of what we did out there.